Hi everybody, my name is Paul Anthony and I have been a career server in the restaurant industry for about 10 years now. And one thing that I have noticed across the board almost is that hosts and hostesses are often the most mistreated staff member in a restaurant. Now I say mistreated just because hosts are in a unique position where they can make the customers and the servers angry in a matter of seconds. This is because they're having to deal with the guests as they come in, as well as the servers if they make any mistakes. Surprisingly stressful and can be difficult. What I hope to accomplish today is to walk you through the host job and give you some instructions about seating arrangements, so that if you were a host, you can maybe do this better and make fewer of your server friends angry. Or if you're going to a restaurant, you can know what job the host actually does, so you can give them a little bit of patience. Now, the first thing that a host should do when they walk in is make their seating charts. Now, a restaurant is broken down into different sections. A section is a group of tables that's assigned to a specific server. Most restaurants have about 5 sections and about 4 to 5 tables in each section. I went ahead and drew up a sample floor chart for you here. As you can see, this restaurant is broken into 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each section has about 4 tables in them. Now, the host job, in its most basic sense, is to make sure that there's an even distribution of guests to servers in the restaurant so that everybody can get served in a timely manner and nobody is super in the weeds or inconvenienced busy, so that they don't, show a lack of service. Now, the way you do that is by rotating sections, which is pretty intuitive. So the first table that comes in, you'll send to section 1, the second to section 2, the third to 3, and so on. The top complaint that I've ever heard about hosts is that they don't stick to the rotation. That means that they are maybe sitting 2 tables in section 1, then setting somebody over in section 3, then 3 tables in section 4, while 2 still doesn't have anybody. That means that the server in section 2 isn't making any money. You can see why they'd be angry. Now, another thing it's important to look at are the reservations coming in that evening, because then you can sort of plan ahead and know that at 5:30 you're going to get a table. Then at 5:45 you'll get another, and you can just plan ahead. The trouble with that is keeping track of the walk-ins. Now, a walk-in is somebody who just comes in off the street. So what it's important to do is to keep a list alongside your reservations of all of the tables that you kept. That way you can make sure to continue in a steady flow as much as possible. Now, another problem that a host can come into to get some anger from a customer is when the customer comes in and says specifically, "Oh yes, I want this table right here. I always have that table by the window," when you just sat 5 people in this section. Now, generally in the service industry, we are not allowed to say no. So, I would go ahead and set the table and the table they insist in, and then go to the waiter in section 2 and tell them what happened. They might want to pick up the table, or they might want to continue the rotation. I always give this section that they're in the option, just because they're going to be inconvenienced either way. They might as well have the money if they want it. Out of order seating, once it gets out of hand, is very difficult to fix, especially when you have the servers mad at you and the customers mad at you because you don't have a place for them. If you want to keep on the server's good sides, I recommend those 2 things highest, keeping track of those. The third is cuts. Now, generally it won't be your responsibility to make cuts. That'll come from a manager. A cut is when you send a server home. They close down their section, get no more customers, and start their closing duties. Now, I have seen multiple times a server will go up to the host and say, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm cut, so don't go ahead and seat me anymore," when really the manager didn't say that. That means that server, if you believe them, is going to go home early and leave their duties for everybody else to clean up. And they're going to have to pick up his slack. I have seen servers make hosts cry for letting somebody leave early when really it wasn't even their responsibility and they didn't understand. So, I hope with this information, if you are a host or a hostess, you have a better grip of how to do your job well and keep on everybody's good side. And even if you aren't a hostess, I hope this helps you appreciate everything that your hostess has to keep track of, so you can maybe handle them with a little bit more patience. Thanks, y'all. Have a good evening.